Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing our first alpha keychain. So I'm super excited to share this tutorial with you. I think these mushroom keychains are the cutest thing ever and they are super quick and easy to make. So we're going to jump into the tutorial in just a second. Before we get started, if you don't know what string to use or what clip attachments to use, I have what I use linked down in the description. Let's get right into the tutorial. Very first up, we have our bass strings. So for this, it doesn't matter what brand or anything that you pick for your bass strings. I wanted to make it different than the white so that it was very clear. I attach it with a lark's head knot. So I have the half, and then I just put my fingers through here, grab the two, pull it tight. Fold it in half, go underneath, pull the loop long, I grab the ends that are hiding from me, and I pull it tight. Same deal, half. Before I tape it down, I like the look of these ends, or this side of the knot, better than this side, so I always put that side down. The colors I'm using here, I'm going to have this orange is going to be, this is the red I'm going to use for the mushroom, and then I have a beige tan for the stem, and then a nice bright white for the little speckles in there. Now normally for alphas, if you watched my last video, I like to keep them wrapped up, but if we're doing something on such a small scale, I generally actually don't do that. For the orange, I'm just gonna do a full wingspan because it won't get tangled. And that's all we need for right now. So I like to get literally as small of a piece as I can. And I'm just gonna put tape down the very end right here. All right, so this is my background color. And so I'm separating here, and I'm just going to do a forward knot. So remember, 4 through, and I pull it. All right, it'll be a little funky on that first knot, but that's why we do 2, because then now it attaches nicely. And then I just keep doing forward knots down. All right, we have finished the first row. Now, what I'm gonna do is backward knots all the way down this way. So, if you're not familiar with alphas, it might be unusual that we do a full forward knot and then a full backward knot. Just make sure you do that. Otherwise, the edges, we get a little smiley face shape. All right, so now I'm doing backward. And then I just keep doing backward knots all the way down. And then the next row is where we get into the fun part, aka adding in a new color. All right, so now it's the fun part. Now we want the red about 3 feet or so. So I want the middle 2 spots to be red. So the way that I know that is I know I have 12 strings. And so I want to go 5 down and then have the middle 2 be red and then 5. So this is 5 on this side. The rest I kind of scoop off to the outside. So I'm going to do these 5 forward knots, and then when we get to the red, I'll show you how I add it in. All right, so I've got this little tiny piece of tape holding down the orange. I'm gonna peel it back up if it will let me. And I found the end of the red, and I want to tape down the end of the red. And I want the red underneath the other strings. So, right about here, give it a little slack. So, switching strings is a trick. So, I want all the action, all the messy stuff going on underneath. If you see underneath the alpha, that's where all the messy stuff happens. So we want to leave the messy to the back and keep the party in the front. All right, so it comes underneath the orange string onto this blue string. So I'm going to start with half of a forward knot. All right, so there's that first half. Then I move the red string up here out of the way. I want the yellow string to go over this blue string. So it's now underneath the red. And then I pull the red back down and I do another forward knot. All right, this is how you can switch colors without the lumps. Now I pull the orange off to the side, and then I just can keep doing the red. So I only need to do one more red. So this is just a normal forward knot right there. So the orange comes here. I do half my forward knot. The orange goes up, the red comes down and across, and then I do a forward knot with the orange again. Sometimes you might have to tug or hold on, put some tension on the red. And now that's off to the side. And so now I have 4 more knots to finish the base here. On this next row, I want, let's see, so I need 4 in the middle. So I want, just to help keep track, I'll count out the 4 on the side here. There we go. This is 4. That's all I do with the bass string. So I do want to show you an easier way to do it is just to forget about orange altogether, and then I just do a forward knot, a normal forward knot here with red. But that can make it a little bumpy sometimes. So if that's easier for you to remember, that's cool. Just make sure that the orange goes underneath. And then one more red knot, and then we need white. So I'm going to pick up this piece. I reuse the same little bit until it doesn't hold it anymore. The white, you're doing 3 knots. So I do as much as I could work with. I just like to start it in the direction that we're going. So again, I could just do a forward knot here without the white, but with the amount of color switches, I do want to use the technique that keeps it a little flatter. So I did my backward knot, I pull the red over top, and I do my backward knot again. Sometimes that'll happen where you just need to grab onto the red a little bit, give it a tug. The nice thing about this is the white's out of the way and the red is actually right here, ready to go again. So I want one more knot with the red. Again, make sure the orange is coming underneath all of the other strings. All right, the next row, we want 6 mushroom spots, so that means only three base strings before we switch to mushroom. Okay, so we did those 3. I want to do 4 red knots. So I have those 4 base strings ready. So I will overlap the orange and then tuck it back down. Bring the white one back. I want 1 white knot and then back to red knots. So I did 1, chuck that off to the side. And then we finish the forward knot over it. Pull down. 1 more red and then we're back to base color. Sometimes I don't do the overlapping because then the white and the red get confused. So it's the same thing here. I want 6 knots. So I'm gonna separate my first 3 base strings and then everything else try and slide it out of the way. I want to do 4 red strings before we put our little spot in there. Okay, that was 4. So I want white 2. Sometimes with this, before I finish it up, I just literally put them all the way up there. We're doing the stem, so I want the first 5 to have a knot. I just kind of rough estimate it. I'll get a fresh piece of tape.
Then we just want the middle 2 to be the beige color for the stem. And then in the next row, we're just going to do the exact same thing. And then I like to finish it up with 2 rows of just the base color right at the bottom.
This is finished, and we gotta make it look like something like this, because she's not cute. So some important things to do before I finish it up is I want to snip off these strings. So I kind of just do a rough chop, and then I'll go back and fix it, refine it a little later. I have pretty good scissors. I recommend fabric scissors. So I guess I can tape it back down for a sec. And then it's pretty easy. I just grab this. You want to make sure you have at least 4 or 5 inches. I bring it up here and I just tighten it. I try and bring it right up to the base, so then I tighten it here. So there'll be a little bit of a gather right there. So that's just a normal knot, but then I finish it off with a square knot. I do maybe 3. Like, it's not, I'm not like securing a bracelet or anything, so it's not as aggressive. All right, good. There, finished product. She's a little funky, but who isn't funky, you know?
Well done. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you have any questions, drop a comment below. I'll do my very best to answer them. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for weekly tutorial videos like this. All right, have a good day.